This episode is sponsored by NordVPN. Good morning. Today we're in the heart of Sheffield here in the UK. And inside this building, we are going to learn all about how some of the finest scissors are made right here in the UK. This is Ernest Wright, and they have been making scissors since 1902. This is truly British heritage manufacturing at its finest. And I'm so excited to share this with you.
Hi, how are you? I'm Neil.
I am very excited for this. You're gonna be showing me around today, helping me get the wave tops of how scissors are made, and hopefully even I'm gonna be making my own pair of scissors.
Yes.
What is the model of scissors that we're gonna make?
We're going to be working on the 10-inch model here, which is our 10-inch tailor sphere, which are made from C60 carbon steel, and you'll be working from the drilling to all the grinding and all the smithing that we have to do in this pair to make them work.
Outstanding. And so let's have a look at one of those finished.
Will look similar to that.
That is beautiful. That is a proper pair of scissors right there. So that's how it comes from the drop forger.
Yes, it's from drop forger that we use.
Now you guys have obviously seen drop forging on this channel a number of times, visiting DMM, drop forging carabiners, visiting WH Tildesley. And so we're talking complicated drop forging process for one half, and then another complicated drop forging process for another half that are both unique, but need to work together and match in their own perfect way.
Yes.
A pair of scissors is not just a pair of scissors. This particular set of steps is for this model of kitchen scissors. But back to our 10-inch shears right here. Our first step with a conveniently placed divot in the drop forging is
drilling.
This workshop is beautiful. Look at all the light they have in here and all of the beautiful tools.
You always have to make sure that it's as square to that as possible. If it's drilled at an angle, the scissors won't work at all. So even though it's the first step here, it's kind of also one of the most crucial steps.
Let's chuck some holes in it. Wow, it cuts really nicely for 0.6% carbon steel. Okay, so you're gonna gently peck at it to get through it, right?
Yeah.
Very nice. Oh my goodness, that is the most beautiful machine switch. You've never seen a better on switch for a pillar drill. Yep. Get a feel for it flat. There we go. Woohoo! The top blade has a clearance hole. Now, the bottom blade needs a threaded M8 hole. Now that needs tapping, but this machine has a tapping setting?
Yes, it does.
Oh, it's so exciting. Though not as pretty as the other drill press, it's got a tap function.
Got a sensor here. When it hits a certain point there, the sensor there, it will kick it into reverse.
Oh, that is so cool. I've successfully done 2 simple drilling operations without losing a finger. I will pass this on over from here to the next expert.
What's going on? Reed.
Reed, good to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
What is the next step here?
Okay, so once the drilling and the tapping is done, we have to go and do something called viotoing, which puts in kind of the most crucial part of the scissor for actual cutting. We'll get about 80% of the way there with the viato, and then later on, we'll fine tune the curve and the twist. But so now, right now, it's just a flat blade, obviously with a lot of scale on it. And now we'll have to put in a curve and then the twist, which is kind of hard to describe, but you'll be able to see it over there.
Sweet. We're going to the next area of the workshop here. Check this out. We just got scissor blanks on scissor blanks. Endless scissor blanks.
Endless, man, endless. And those ones supposedly are from the 80s even, so we have years and years and years of blanks just sitting around. This is the Viat Machine.
You say Viato?
Viato, yeah, it's an Italian machine. It does involve a lot of fine tuning and trial and error, kind of visualizing the blade as it goes through the machine, which will be a lot easier when I show you.
Superb. So this is a broken down Viato machine.
This sits on rails, so we're able to adjust the height of it, the stone.
And there's a stone
Stone
will
sit here, yep. When it's all put together, we can't see
what's going on.
So this is kind of a good idea of what's going on.
Wow, okay, so under here we've got grindstone. Yep. This is your fixture for it.
We have the scissor in a mold, and we have to orient it in a way so when the travel direction is so it creates the shape that we wanted to have. So then here down in the front, there's a bunch of different, I don't know, handles, I guess, adjustments, knobs. So these front two here, these top two, this is to adjust how far the bed goes in and out. The bottom one is the actual travel speed.
Would it be fair to describe this machine as a very specialized scissor surface grinder to make the geometry that you need?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, it's just taking kind of the way they would have done it on the stones over there. They would have done it on the stones by hand. And it's just taking that process and setting it up so it's a fixture, really. So you're able to consistently get the shape that you need in the scissor. And this is kind of the way to do it. So if we come to the side of the machine here, this is the direction of the stone, which way it spins.
Yep.
And for the right hand and left hand, it would be different.
Oh wow, the stone has to spin in opposite direction for each half of the scissor.
This is where we actually create the curve in the bed.
So is there a carriage on wheels?
Yeah.
And you can adjust the curve in the bed by adjusting these flat plates up or down.
Yeah.
And because that carriage has a wheel here and a wheel there, you can regulate the curve.
Yep.
That's how it works.
Yep, that's exactly how it works, yeah. So we put this into here, and then you loosen it. I'm not gonna loosen it up because I already set this up, but then you adjust the bed with this.
So you're not only making a curve this way, but a curve that twists.
Yeah, and I think we all, like everyone in the shop agrees that the twist is much more important to get spot on because you can't really do much to change it once it's in. Whereas a curve, you can hammer it in and you can get a curve that way, but to get a twist is
impossible.
Almost impossible.
It needs to be done on the grinder.
These two knobs here is the lift speed and the slope. So when it goes in, it lifts up and then it comes out. On the shorter scissors, the slope doesn't really matter that much because it comes up and then it's just a short blade and it comes down. Longer scissors, like these are the 10-inch scissors, it comes up and then you don't want the stone necessarily to hit right away. You want it to come up and then start moving.
You need to feather the grinding.
Feather the grinding, yep.
You know what I'm learning? This machine is incredibly complicated.
Yeah, and you can tell there's no numbers, there's no lines, there's no, this is how many turns you need to do. It's just practice, really. This is a practice machine. So over here too, you can kind of see what patterns we're looking for when we're grinding. 1, 2, 3. It rarely looks like that, but that's, in theory, that's what we're going for.
And when you say 1, 2, 3, is that on each pass?
Each pass, yeah.
So in 3 passes, you expect it to kind of grind the whole surface on a scissor that's on
that big, we can do in one usually.
One pass.
One, yeah.
Wow. So the machine is able to take enough material to get to that 3rd pass in one go, but as you're setting up the machine, you're just lifting up the head of it such that you see the 1st pass.
Yep, and
you're
just reading it. You're trying to read what's going on. And then eventually at one point, you will have to commit and just do a full grind and see what it looks like.
Got it.
So eventually you will have to get there.
Golly, scissors are complicated.
And then that's that part, and then this is also kind of what we're looking for as well. And this is what I was talking about, the mold. So obviously there's the direction of the stone. We want it to come off in a certain way. And so if you don't have the scissor in the right orientation in the mold to begin with, then it's very difficult to have the proper travel direction. This is the top setup for the top blade, and that one's set up for the bottom blade. I'll just do a couple of these so you can kind of see what's going on. So that's the pen grind mixed with water. And then there's magnets in the mold. Just put that in.
Brilliant. So this is an epoxy fixture that you guys make here with little magnets in it to hold the blade. And it'll just sit there. And because you grind in one direction, it can stay there perfectly fine.
Perfectly fine, yeah.
Oh, sometimes it doesn't.
The pedal's down there. They'll click that, it goes in. All these bigger scissors, I like doing a little bit slower of a travel speed, so you have just more control. So right now I'm just lowering the stone until I can, now it's starting to hit.
Got it.
So here we go, it's raised up, now it's coming out.
Now she's cutting. Wow. Wow, that did a lot in one pass.
So there you go.
Wow, that did not take much to clean that up.
No.
And leave it with a really beautiful surface finish.
When we open a scissor, we want the tension to be the same throughout the blade, and therefore we need to have a different height on the pinch. It's called the pinch. We need a different height on each side. When it's closed, it'll be quite tight, right? But when we open it and we get it to here, if this side is higher than this side, then you'll get something called a floating pinch, and there will be no tension down to the bottom. So when we're opening it up, we're actually trying to make this side and this side tight. So that's why, this side and this side would be higher than that side.
And that's why this setup of this machine is so crucial, because without setting up the machine right, you're not getting your curves. The geometry of the thing is all out of whack, and you're not getting a properly functioning scissor. This is the base, the foundation to a properly functioning scissor.
Yeah.
This is the...
So I'll let you do one.
Let's not mess this up. Start here.
Yeah.
Then here?
Yeah.
I'm gonna gently set that in. All right. You've got the feel of it. Oh yes. Oh, that is so satisfying and beautiful. Oh, I love this. What a machine. Look at that gorgeous surface finish. That comes out. So there we go. That is the bow successfully ground in the blade, giving it the curve that it needs and the twist. Now check this out from this perspective. We can see the twist. As I rotate, you can see the shine of the ground metal here towards the tip before you see it back there. So not only has the grinder put in our curve, it has put in the appropriate twist on one half. Now for the second. All right, it's in place. Oh yeah. Left pedal, here we go. Woo. Nice consistent curve, some good twist. Now you guys can clearly see the bow that they both have. So now that we've got our curve and our twist, what's next?
It's time to go to another part of the shop.
Sweet. Thank you so much.
No worries, man. No worries. It's my pleasure.
I've got to interrupt us to tell you about today's sponsor, which is NordVPN. It's a virtual private network. It acts as an intermediary between you and the websites you browse, and I always have it on my phone and all my other devices. I really value having a VPN because it encrypts the data that goes from my devices to their servers. It means that my internet service provider, a nefarious country, or a hacker trying to do a man-in-the-middle attack can't see the data that's going back and forth. But I also like the flexibility it gives me to be able to make the websites that I'm browsing think I'm browsing from exactly where in the world I want them to think I'm browsing from. I've got a trip coming up to San Francisco, then back to Bozeman, and by using the app to switch from a United Kingdom VPN to a US VPN, I can make the websites of the rental car places think I am not a tourist, and you can often find better deals that way, saving you money. Best of all, Nord has an incredible deal going on right now. Every purchase of a 2-year plan is going to get an additional 4 months for free, and in time for your summer travel, signing up is going to give you a voucher for 20 gigabytes of free data from Saley, a new eSIM data service from the NordVPN team. No more crazy roaming charges this summer with that whopper of a deal. Go to nordvpn.com/forge and get started. Let's get back to it. How are you, James?
Nice to meet you. I'm great, thank you.
What is the next step that you're going to be showing me?
So I'm going to be grinding the outside blades on these 10-inch.
Okie doke.
So as you can see, they've just been Viatoed, and now we're doing the outside blades, which you can see here.
Yep.
On the stones.
Hell yeah, this is an awesome setup. You're sitting right on top of the grindstone, and is the stone running through coolant?
Yep. So this is just water with a pen grind solution in it, which is just an anti-rust.
Okay.
Because these are obviously a carbon scissor, and we don't want any rust issues.
Sweet, let's see it.
Okay, let's give it a go. So I'll give it a quick dress, make it a little bit rougher.
Okay.
And then I'll be going onto the grinder.
How often do you have to dress it?
When we're edging, I'd say every pair, but because they're soft before hardening, every 5 or so.
Is that a bit of rubber on your left thumb?
Yeah, just to keep the hot metal off. So you can see there where it's brown.
Yeah.
That's because the stone's still a bit too fine.
Okay, so it's kind of just burning it instead of it's getting it too hot in that one spot because the stone isn't cutting right?
That's correct. Just going to take it down a little bit more, roughen it up.
What are the odds that I don't screw this up? I presume that usually there's some scrappage involved in your first couple of attempts. So the pressure's really on, because I only have one pair to finish. There is no chance I get this first time. I've never used a grinder sitting down before. Now we grind the outside blade of our pair. I'm gonna do a little test piece on this, hopefully reject of no value. Oh, here we go. That doesn't feel as concerning as I thought it would feel. A little bit more at the shoulder area.
A little bit more of the shoulder. And one thing I'd say as well, you've got to end it at the point.
Okay, so come off at the point. That was a better pass. That's all right. Okie doke. So on that note, I guess I try the real thing. You had it at a little bit of an angle, right? Okay, happy with that? You just wait till it starts spraying. Grinding the real thing. Twist towards the tip. Lift up. Oh!
Beautiful.
I haven't ruined it yet. That's the first couple of passes. Oh no. Oh no. Look at all the facets I've made. It's getting there. This is no easy feat trying to grind this right. This is as hard as any hollow grind I've ever done on a knife. Ah, so close. Better. Don't ruin it now, don't ruin it.
Now that is perfect.
You think?
Certainly does.
Thank you very much. Thank you for teaching. That's one half, now on to the other. Okay, sweet. So this, you said, is approximately an 80 grit. What's the next one?
About 220.
So on your 220 grit stone, you're using a different dresser.
We do use this on that stone to make it flat.
Okay.
But on this stone, we don't need to make it rougher.
On to the next one. Woo! All right, so now onto the buffing.
Yep. So this is our scurf wheel, which is a rabbit hair coated in a cement, and then on top of the cement we put a wax carbrax, which is an abrasive, obviously, and then we go onto the sisal wheel.
Sick, awesome. All right, on we go. Okay, that's done for that wheel.
Quite nice, actually. They're nice.
Good, it's good to have the seal of approval.
So what we'll do now that we've done with blades there, that's a lot of hard work for grinding. Now it's to solve other bits of scale like the nail hole, the back, shank for bows now. So we're going to do a lot of bow dressing and shanks, and we'll use the different belt grinders and flappy wheels to create the finish that we require right now. It is there. So how I like to do it, I like to do the inside bow grinding first.
Oh, and we get to see a special machine for that, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Very cool belt grinder. Now this is a belt grinder that I have never seen before.
So you've got a motor with a wheel, and that spins. So it's on, it spins here. You've also got another wheel here, so the belt goes around here, around there, but you've got a foot pedal at the bottom there. When you push down, it releases the tension there. So when you take your foot off, it gets tight there, so it keeps the tension on the inside of the bow, of the belt there where it is on.
Brilliant. You can use your foot to shorten the distance so you can take the belt on, feed the belt through the eye, and then let go, and there's the tension to grind it.
Yeah, so you'll be working it out. So say you drop the scissor there and the belt's on here, you work on this spot and on that spot at the same time. So you have to keep it moving, otherwise you get flat spots all the time, and adjusting the angles that you're doing at the same time. So when it's here, you want less tension.
You're adjusting as you go.
And when you're up there, you want more tension.
Oh wow, so you're throttling the tension of the belt as you grind, depending where you're grinding.
Yeah.
That is adding a whole new level of complexity and coordination to belt grinding. And what grit is this?
This is 120 grit. 120 grit.
So cool.
So it goes on. So
you start it with no tension in the belt.
So no tension starting there. So when I start lifting it up there, you can see it moving there and then slowing down.
Oh wow.
So when I'm like adjusting it there, and when I get the right tension where I can feel it touching both sides, even pressure, then I kind of hold my foot where it is, and then I like start moving that bit there.
So it's almost like a clutch, in the sense that the more tension, the more power to the belt. This is the coolest thing I've ever seen. Oh my goodness, this is nuts. Wow. But you see, I have zero muscle memory to transfer to this. I've hologround before, I have not done this. This goes in.
Yep.
I want no tension.
You'll be able to you start, and then all of a sudden you feel it bite. And
Yeah, now it's biting. Ah! Wow, I do not know where I'm going. All right, now let's have a look at it. That's like high-speed adrenaline stuff right there. Do a little bit blade that way and a little bit blade
like that.
That is very challenging. I think I'm going to need you to finish mine because I'm going to do an awful job.
That's fine. That's not a problem.
That's ridiculously difficult.
The next stage, it's the outside bow dressing. This is a 120 grit, but it's quite aggressive. Roughing it, we basically just take all the scale just off the side bit there. We try and maintain that shape roughly by using the wheel there.
Feel more comfortable with this, I reckon. Time to grind the outside of the bows. Next up, we're going to be using a 120 grit flappy wheel. What a lovely grinder again. It's enormous.
You're gonna run out of time.
No, we're not, Sam. You'll be fine.
Are you saying I'm a slow worker?
Yeah.
Are you liking it?
Super fun. Super fun. I love the machines. I love how these machines are just absolutely perfect for the task that they're used for. If I was making a knife, I'd be going 36, 60, 80, 120, 180, Trizac belts, like going up this enormous range of belts. Whereas you guys are actually making far fewer jumps in belts because you got the tools to do it just perfectly right. I mean, that's pretty cool. It's efficient. Like the finishing is very efficient here on these scissors.
It does help having a industrial rumbler as well. It does. It does help a little bit. Even a soft pair of scissors, it should cut.
Even though you don't have an edge on it.
Yeah.
There's not even an edge and it's cutting. What? Oh, that feels so cool. I love it. I can't believe that I was involved in making these. So the next step in the regular manufacturing of a pair of scissors here.
It'd be sent off for hardening, then it would be.
Brilliant. This behind me is a sealed quench furnace. And this is how most of Ernest Wright's scissors are heat treated. Parts get loaded here in the front into a gas heated oven. And then in this whole very complicated process, using an endothermic gas, they can make sure that there is no oxygen in there, heat the parts to the required hardening temperature, then move the parts from this chamber into that chamber after they're pulled on a chain, where they then get lowered down into an oil bath for a quench. Meaning that the parts that Ernest Wright gets back have so little oxidization, it's really wild, and I've never seen this in heat-treated parts before. An oil quench, no scale, ready to go straight to the rumbling. So they come back from the hardeners looking like this. Oh, I love it. You can still see the temper colors. There's no scale on it, and you can see the purple temper color.
We would anneal the shank here, which is the shank of the top blade. We would anneal the shank, we would do.
And we find ourselves something I recognize. That is an induction forge, and you guys must have bought it from somebody just down the road from me. That's Nigel Barnett's outfit.
It is. It's the same person we bought it from. So we need to make sure we keep the blade cool. So that's why we do that bit there, and we've got the water here. And we put it in there to keep it cool there, and there. So what we'll do?
Use an induction coil to heat up that spot. That's all you do. Oh my goodness.
That's it.
You don't even, that's as hot as you get it. You don't get it any hotter.
No, that's as hot as we need it.
Amazing. So after you anneal and soften the shank of the scissors, you then come to this massive vibratory rumbler. Look at how fine the abrasive media is. And you said you use an acid in here as well at the same time?
Yes, it's an acid and a polishing compound we use as well.
That takes the surface finish from this to this. That's what it comes out of the rumbler?
Yeah.
I mean, it's damn near perfect. That is unbelievable. Do you do anything else before they?
We will hand polish them up there.
So they come right back to here for a little bit of hand polishing. Oh, that is just gorgeous. So that's as rumbled. Yeah. And then that is as buffed. It's a mirror. Jonathan just told us something super interesting. They have to be extra careful to not burn the blade, i.e. get the blade so hot that it shows temper colors. Not because, like, oh, it lost a couple of Rockwell points, but because these blades are running up against another hardened blade. If a particular spot of one of these blades is softer, it's gonna get cut into by the other. It's about the relative hardness of one blade to the other in the scissor that makes it so critical that he doesn't overheat it. So what's up next?
10-inch we're putting together now.
Is this why you're called a putter?
Yes.
Are you all called putters, or is it just the people that put them together? But I guess you all put them together.
Well, traditionally we would be called putters, but that's only because scissor factories, it was very horizontal as a business structure. So you had grinders, finishers, bow dressers, putters, and
so it's not like today where all of you can do all of everybody else's job, like you can jump on different machines, you can do different sets. It's somebody was specifically involved in the assembly process, and so therefore they were a putter.
Exactly, and they would have been the putter togetherer. Nowadays, because we do every process, I guess we're just generally scissor makers. But we like the old-timey word, so we'll go
It
with
does
putters.
sound good. I like putter, you know? What is the first step in putting together?
First step is to get your screw and your spring. You have to get a top and a bottom, bit of oil.
And you screw it on.
Yeah, all the way down and then off a bit. And goes the nut and then we
Oh!
tighten it up.
Got it. I love it. I love things like this. Like who has a socket sticking out of their workbench? A putter togetherer.
So we're trying to get the right tension first, and then the next part is to align the bows and make sure the points are crossed. The points start to meet, and then you've got enough room to
grind the bevel on, because
Yeah.
the point will obviously sit back.
that's the one, yeah. So you have to pop it in here,
Yeah?
give it a good pull.
Brilliant. Nice. And you're just doing it by feel and by eye?
Yeah.
Do you bend both sides or just one?
Just the top blade.
Just the top.
Because the bottom blade hasn't been softened.
Oh, I didn't catch that. You only soften the top. You don't have to soften the bottom because that's the only one that needs the bend.
Now the points need to be aligned, so you can see the points.
Okay, because they're not crossing over enough on this pair.
Yeah.
So they need to cross more.
The bow over here
Oh, no way.
and push it towards,
That looks...
or away, sorry.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
I would be snapping them all the time. So that's what you want it to look like.
That's the
just
one,
crossed
yeah.
ever so little.
The next part is to make them feel nice, sound nice, and make sure they're not too stiff. I look down the blade and I see that there's too much twist there. It's too flat here and it's a bit too twisty there.
I don't know why, but for whatever reason, I most definitely did not anticipate this amount of brute force to finally tune a pair of scissors. This is awesome. That feels incredible. That's the final polish.
Yeah.
Now the final edge. Back on the double wheel grindstone. Is that a finished sharpened pair of scissors right there?
Yeah, we just need to take the sharp edges off here and here, so when people run across the table to cut, it doesn't
Bite
scratch
in.
it. Yeah.
That's how a pair of scissors are made right here in the UK, in Sheffield. Thank you for showing us all the craftsmanship that goes into it. I'm back here in the workshop and I've had a few days to reflect on this trip to Ernest Wright. Just unbelievable. The whole crew, everybody there is just so passionate about what they do and so eager to share it with the world. And I'm so lucky that I got to be able to go spend the day there witnessing this bloody brilliant British manufacturing and also seeing just how fine a pair of scissors really can become and how good they can be to use. Don't forget, they sell them. So you could have owned the best pair of scissors you've ever owned in your life. We'll make sure that we leave links down below. Big thank you to today's sponsor, which was NordVPN. Please go give them a try by clicking the link down below. And I'd love it if you click like on this video, you leave us a comment as well, so we can get this video in front of as many people as possible. Share this cool craft that we have witnessed. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.